Hi there, I'm Frances and welcome to Love Teaching at Home. This video is all about how to give constructive feedback to your child regarding their work. Now, feedback is a really important part of learning and also independent learning because it's how you know, it's how you gauge how you're doing. And there's lots of different ways to give feedback. Now, the traditional way of giving feedback is through marking. And I have to say, hands up, as a teacher, I hated marking. I love giving feedback. I love seeing kids improve. I love them working towards their goal. I love them being on target and knowing what they needed to do. I personally hated sitting down with a pile of books and a pen and a stamp or some stickers. It was overwhelming. 30 sets of work, and I had to do 2 sets of books a night. It was massive. So that kind of turned me off marking, I'll be honest. So, but there are some benefits to it, and there are reasons that teachers do it. Now, teachers do it because it gives you a good record of the feedback process, and it gives them opportunity to give individual feedback to each child without lesson. If a lesson lasts for 50 minutes and it's got 25 kids in the class, that's 2 minutes per child. And you've got time to set the work, you've got time to help them do the work, you've got time to talk about the weather, and then there's marking time, and you could spend easily 2 minutes per child talking about marking, so that'd be the whole lesson done. So marking gives teachers who have a huge workload that opportunity to just put some of the work in the evening, which is a whole union issue, but we won't get into that. So that's what marking does, and there's a lovely record of it, so that you can do the marking in the evening, then you get to the lesson, you can say to the kids can see they've got a personalised comment, they can go back and see over time how they've improved, they can take their written feedback and turn it into a record in the front or the back of their books. It's a nice way to create that sort of relationship. Now, the second way of giving feedback is verbal commentary, which is my favourite. I love to chat, especially in a classroom. A quiet classroom really freaks me out. I can't quite deal with it. So I'd give a lot of verbal feedback, and we give verbal feedback to each other, which is the next point I shall come to. So verbal feedback, which is where you will have like a discussion as well. So it's not just saying, good, you got them all done, well done, tick. It's saying, okay, so that's really interesting. How did you get to this point? Or what do you think would be the next step? Or do you think this is the best you could do? Let's be frank. It's a line long and you've been staring out the window for half an hour. What's the barrier? But instead of being, oh, you should have done more work, it can then turn into, what's the barrier? And that was a very successful method that I used during feedback conversations. Because if I say to kids, so if a work was clearly below what the child was capable of, I would simply say, like, what is the barrier that's stopping you achieving what you need to do? And I will help you take that barrier away. Now, for a lot of children, just saying, I can see that your work's not where it normally is, I am so on side with you getting your work to a level that you want and to helping you learn. I am here and listening, and I want to know what I can do to help you. And along the go, actually, I just need to do it. Don't worry, miss. I'll go and sit down and do it. And then the work's a lot better. And they could be daydreaming about something. They might say, actually, I'd really like to talk about this, or I'm hungry, or I'd really like to go outside and run around for 5 minutes. Whatever it is, that discussion works. So this is where verbal feedback and commentary has an edge over written like marking, because you have the ability to develop there on the spot. And where you're working at home and you aren't pressed for time, in that you don't have 30 children looking for your attention at the same time, you might have like 5 or 6, let's be realistic, but not 30, then you have the ability to discuss it and to develop it so that your feedback becomes a lot more valuable rather than just being at that one moment in time. Now, the final type of feedback, which is, as a teacher, one of my favourites, and more difficult to achieve, but really where you're aiming to go, is self-assessment. And this comes into independent learning, which was in another video if you want to have a look at my independent learning video. So self-assessment is where a child looks at their own work and they says, do you know what, it was pretty good. I did this, this and this better than normal. However, if I wanted to push it further, or to improve it, I think this part is the weakest, and maybe I want to develop this paragraph, or maybe I didn't find out enough about this, I need to go back and have another look. Whatever point it is that you're looking at, so self-assessment. Now, it's a delicate line to walk between valuable self-assessment and hating yourself, especially if you're a young teenage girl, and there's a lot of, you might feel a lot of pressures. There's a lot in the news about teenage girls, and a lot of the parents I work with have girls who are, as I say, teenage, sort of 9 to 13, so sort of just below teenage really, but they are very keen to please and they want to do their best, and that means pushing themselves beyond, but it also means that they don't develop their own sense of what's okay, and they need that for just being a happy person. So self-assessment is difficult to do if you haven't put the foundations in. So you need to make sure that over time you're modelling with them the right way to talk about yourself and your work and themselves and their work, and that you're modelling what standards really are expected, and say, do you know what, this is great, let's leave it. Don't sit up for 2 hours colouring it in further and making sure that corner's done. This is great, and show appreciation for their work. Now finally, that brings us to the point of actually, probably where I should have started, but the point of giving feedback is it's a two-edged sword in a positive way, win-win maybe we might say. It's about bringing in improvement to the work. So the reason we give feedback is to help people do better, and it's also about giving them recognition, which helps in turn build their self-confidence and their independence. So it's about helping them do better, but it's also about enjoying what they've done previously. So anytime you look at some work, do your absolute best. I'm sure you can as parents. It's so easy to find good things that our children do, but it's so important to find at least one positive thing to say. And it's not part of mollycoddling, it's just saying, you know, actually I appreciate that you've sat down for half an hour, or even, do you know what, they've sat down for like a minute and scribbled something down, but you appreciate that it was difficult for them to sit down because you had to nag at them for half an hour to get them to sit down and do anything. I appreciate that even though you weren't in the mood, you sat down and you had a good go. You had a go at the work. If it wasn't a good go, you appreciate that they gave you some of their time. Thanks for that. That was really good. Now let's take it one step further and make sure that your improvement point is relevant and relative to the work. So if you've got a kid who you've just chased around for half an hour and they've done like 5 minutes work, if that, all huffing and puffing, and you know exactly what I mean. If you've been there, you know what I mean. And then they give you like some work and they're like, wouldn't give this, and you're like, probably could do better. Value what they've done, but make sure that the point you give them to do better isn't like, oh, and now you need to write 5 paragraphs, because if they're not in that state of mind to start with, they're not going to be in that state of mind later. And you can say, look, actually, this is supposed to be a much bigger piece of work, a much more in-depth piece of work. We'll come back to that this afternoon when you're feeling fresher, or we'll come back to that tomorrow. But I'd really like today for you to just finish this one bit off. What if you explained why this was? One more bit, just to push you a little bit further today. And once they've settled in and had another go, first of all, they might feel like doing a bit more. Once they've realised that they can do it and they can achieve, they might feel like they want to do a bit more. Second of all, they will leave that learning session with a feeling of accomplishment, which means it'll be a lot easier for them to return to learning the next time. So those are the two real good benefits about matching the feedback you give and the improvement comments to the quality of work you've been given. Because if you give them too much of a mountain, they won't get there. And if you don't give them enough of a mountain, they'll never get there either, because they're taking teeny tiny steps. Super. So the only other thing to say is that there are different as questions, and there's a video on here about different types of questions. And it's looking at, if you ask, we all know about open and closed questions, but it's actually a little bit more complex than that. And if you ask questions that are too far ahead of your child to push them, actually they will give you much less of an answer because they're a little bit lost as to what you want to give them. So when you're giving feedback, make sure that you're pushing them to the next level ahead, but not too far ahead. So check out my video on challenge measures and how to make sure the work that you're setting is challenging enough. Super, it's been lovely to see you. Catch you later, bye.